Let's talk right now about, well, the latest attack on women's freedom to, well, anybody's freedom really, to talk, well, simple facts. Those biological facts that Keir Starmer now agrees with Tony Blair on, but doesn't really understand because he still thinks some people who are women do actually have penises. I'm not quite sure he does get it, but let's talk about what has happened to a regular contributor to this show, a hero of mine, Maya Forstater. She is the head of the charity, the campaign group Sex Matters, and she has revealed that Scotland Yard has been investigating her for the crime of malicious communications ever since summer last year. What were the malicious communications? Well, she posted a tweet about a trans GP who is a man who now has transitioned to live as if he were a woman, but looks like he is a woman, but is, of course, still a man, and says, won various awards and has done lots of interviews about believing as a trans GP and being a trans patient, and saying that actually women are perfectly happy to have him give very intimate investigations into patients, including their genital regions, because they give consent, because he's a woman. Now, the key thing is, Maya Forstater tweets that, a very simple tweet, that this GP enjoys intimately examining female patients without consent, on the basis that you can't give consent if you don't actually know that this person is a man who looks like a woman. Well, let's talk about this with Harry Miller. He's a former police officer, a founder of Fair Cop, and he himself was once investigated by the police over a poem he posted on Twitter, and he founded Fair Cop as a result to share concerns over, well, exactly this sort of action by the police. Good morning to you, Harry.
Good morning. This is absolutely typical of the police. Now, in this instance, the Malicious Communications Act, it's an act from 1988.
Yep.
And the act requires that person A, Maya Forstater in this case, makes a communication to person B. That never happened.
She didn't. Yeah, the tweet didn't name her, didn't identify her in any way. Yeah.
All Maya did was make a comment. Now, this is not the first time that the police have used this. The case of Lindsay Smith, up in Newcastle, if you remember, she was arrested based on the Malicious Communications Act, where person A, Lindsay, tweeted to person B. It never ever happened.
She's still banned from those matches as well.
Absolutely. Now, the police know this. The police know that this will not fly in court. But this is where the police are very clever. They have no intention of it ever going to court, none whatsoever. They are simply pick and choosing these so-called criminal tools in order to harass members of the public. Yeah. There is not a chance this would ever get in front of a magistrate.
And I understand from Maya Forstater, when she was basically told, we're going to arrest you. If you don't come in for questioning, we're going to arrest you. When she went in with her lawyer, the lawyer said very early on, you haven't got a case.
This notion of the voluntary interview, if you don't voluntarily present yourself, we are going to arrest you. That is not a voluntary interview.
Exactly.
That is a coercive.
But again, what did Maya Forstater say? Again, I would defend her right to give her opinion anyway. It's not malicious. Again, just basically, the police, thank you, under the auspices of their Stonewall training, seem to believe that anyone stating that a trans woman is a man is somehow malicious and transphobe and committing a criminal act. No, they're simply stating biological facts. And as people like J.K. Rowling, Maya Forstater, myself and many others have said, if you want to put me in prison for refusing to tell a lie, fair enough. I will take the prison. But this is what Maya Forstater actually wrote. Okay, this is about GP Dr. Camilla Camarudin, and Dr. Camilla Camarudin is a man. Okay, because if you're born a man, you remain a man forever. But Liz, as a trans woman, trans woman identified man. Okay, but Dr. Camarudin said that after transitioning, patients allow Daily Mail's got allow him to perform, quote, more intimate examinations than they did not let me do when I was a male GP. Now, I'm sorry, he is still a male GP, because you can't change from male to female, and looks like a woman, and therefore one would argue that an awful lot of those patients, unless the conversation is, oh, I'm trans, I'm actually a man, lots of those patients would have said, well, actually, I would rather you didn't, give me a cervical smear or have me take my pants off and examine me. I'd rather a woman did that. Now, Maya Forstater's criticisms that people couldn't give consent to that is a perfectly fair criticism. But the only reason this is an issue is because this GP is claiming to be trans.
That's right. What needs to happen? The police need to step right away from this.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about having a fantasy cabinet with you as the Empress. Well, I would honestly like to offer myself up to Keir Starmer and let me be the Minister for Policing. And I tell you
Yes,
this,
please.
I will work for free for 6 months, and it will only take me 3 months to sort out the police in their entirety.
Yeah.
I would have every chief constable there, and I would say, this is what you do. You apply the law and the law only.
But by the way, who told them that wasn't...
You yourself from all politics,
Yeah.
all Stonewall.
But who told them to do anything else? This is the bit. I mean, we had these election of these police and crime commissioners. That was supposed to sort of solve them not doing things. But this is the issue. And Maya Forstater has pointed this out as well, and you've pointed this out many times. The police and so many other organisations, with the NHS, our schools, and they are being totally and utterly captured by Stonewall and other trans ideological activist groups. Stonewall did a brilliant job campaigning for gay rights. Well, they've got all the gay rights, and then they looked for something new, and now they're trampling on women's rights by putting trans rights above those of women. But it is extraordinary in terms of the power they have, in terms of the training of police, training of civil servants, training of the teachers, NHS staff and the like. The normalisation of the idea that it is somehow a terrible, hateful, malicious thing to do is to state biological fact, and that should be punished in law, whether you lose your job, whether you get, you get a prison sentence. That has become normalised. Why has this not been sorted out already? This problem has been identified a million times already. You and I have spoken about this many, many times. Your group is set up, Sex Matters is set up deliberately to campaign against this. Why has this last Tory government not done anything about it?
Because they've absolutely no backbone whatsoever. They're ignoramuses and cowards. And that's why I would invite Keir Starmer to make me the Minister of Policing.
No, but he doesn't agree with you. He agrees with Stonewall. He agrees with Stonewall.
I agree, but Julia, he's former head of public prosecutions, okay? He should, of all people, he should recognise that the law reigns supreme. The law in this country reigns supreme, and we cannot have a politically influenced or politically motivated police force. We need to know the opinion of a chief constable politically, in the same way that we needed to know the opinion of Her late Majesty the Queen. She ruled for decades, and we didn't have a clue what she thought. And that is what we demand of chief constables. And Keir, make me head of policing, and I will make sure that happens. Simple as that.
I would definitely be in favour of that. Harry Miller, always great. Thank you so much for standing up on these issues. I really appreciate it.